Okay, so reporting from the front, here I am. I have action to report from the Indian Buffet Cafe. Here, in my little small town, we have a wonderful Indian buffet that it's Friday afternoon. A lot of people go there for an enjoyable, sociable lunch. And I had stated my plan in an earlier video. I will recount it as I go through this. It was a successful operation. I came armed with a plan. I executed the plan, and so let me just go through it on a blow by blow here. I went up to the, buffet hot table, got a plate, avoided wheat, and they had wonderful vegetables, delicious sauces, peas and paneer and vegetables, just vegetable medley and potatoes, and I even got a fried onion ring, which is like, oh, so good. And what else did they have? Little fried onion ring, rice, dal, and then I put the wonderful hot chili, that stuff with the green and red peppers on it, and then I took the squeezy bottles and there's some kind of sweet sauce, and I think some kind of a, savory sauce, and put it on there, and, plate, and went back to my table. I had water. I had planned just to drink water, which I did. I filled it up, and my friend came back. She had a good strategy too. She was eating, sort of staying away from the carbs, I think. She had chicken. They had chicken there, and she had that, and then she had a nice big plate of salad, and then maybe a few vegetables, but mostly she loaded her plate up with salad and chicken, which is what her strategy was. So we both had a strategy, and that was my suggestion to go there. Probably wouldn't have been hers because, well, most restaurants you go to, they're challenging, but they're not geared for dieters, really. They're geared for enjoyment, which is, that's the way it should be. So we sat and chatted and had a lovely time, and I, ate my plate, and it, took a reasonable amount of time. And then when I was done, there's that moment. She went back up and got, some vegetables or something. And the onion ring was delicious. I could have gone back up and gotten an onion ring. But I realized what my plan was. My plan was one plate. And I sat with the fullness and the enjoyment and the satisfaction of one plate. We were having great conversation, which is really the main reason you go to a restaurant, so that one person isn't having to cook and do dishes and everything, so you can really just focus on communication and being sociable, and also being out with other people. In this small town, you recognize people you see. It's nice to see and be seen. There's something about eating in public that's kind of, I think it's primal, eating with the group, with a larger group. One feels sort of, a different level of fulfillment rather than just sitting in a room with just two or three people. There's just something about it that's extra special. And so it's beautiful surroundings, beautiful Indian decorations and colorful paint and everything. Big room, tall ceilings. So I sat with that feeling of, I have had my plate. I know I've had enough. Let's just sit and rest with this. And I did. And indeed, Deepak Chopra recommended that we eat up to 2/3 fullness. He said the food, after you ingest it, actually expands in the stomach. And if you will sit with that 2/3 of fullness in the stomach, eventually you will actually feel full. And indeed, that's what happened. As I sat there, thinking, I was at that line. Do you go up? You're supposed to go up because it's a buffet. You're supposed to get your money's worth. But I sat with it, and as I sat there, I realized, no, you are full. That was very satisfying. And I even chatted with my friend about the idea of getting what your money's worth out of, the buffet. And she understood, that you really lose when you eat too much at a buffet. You don't gain anything, you'll lose. Unless you can take the food home with you, there's no real benefit, because you're doing what your higher self sort of knows is not necessary. You're doing it for sort of ulterior motives of getting your money worth. But anyway, so I didn't do that, and then we sat and talked, and then I did go up for a little tin plate. They have those lovely little cute tin plates of a nice, it was like a light rice pudding. And oh yeah, I also had the yogurt raita on my dish, my main dish, which is that nice cooling, um, uh, element to the meal. I knew there was one other thing I put on there. So that was it. And then we talked and talked and talked, and I finished my dessert. And it wasn't a lot of dessert, but it was enough to chat with. And she didn't have dessert. That wasn't on her strategy. So then, afterwards we went and walked around the park, which is across the street, and then we went to a really wonderful store. So we had a full afternoon. I did not overindulge. I didn't go off my diet, but afterwards I realized I did want to go over to Walmart and get my mint chocolate chip Yazoo creamsicles because I wanted one of those, and I also wanted to have a cup of chai when I get home. I had bought chai the night before, and that's what I did. I went there and I got more Perrier. So I did have one creamsicle when I got home and a chai. So it was like, that was sort of my opulence. That was my kind of over the top, which I didn't really need to do, but that little voice inside the head says, oh, more, 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 more. So anyway, so that's what happened. And, so I just want to report success today at the India buffet. And it's good to have presence of mind. And I'm going to go exercise today at the rec center. Hopefully after program, take my gym clothes. I don't really feel like doing it. I feel like staying here and working because I have a lot of work to do. But, every day the exercise, something about revving up those engines helps me with staying on track. And, it's also just a good practice. Did have water. I had a real tall 1.5 glasses of the tall, water glass of water. So I did fit some water in, and maybe I'll drink some more water tonight. So that's good too, that I remembered the water bit, when I was talking this morning. So anyway, so that's it. I'm going to upload this, and I'm also finding out more about iMovie, which is good. I'm investigating that a little bit. I put a little thumbnail on there today, and that's progress, because I didn't know much about that. Still don't. Anyway, so that's it. Talk later.